Welcome back, folks. Lesson 3 of the ICT Stock Trading June 2017 content. This lesson is Building Sell Watch Lists. Okay, as we disclosed in the Building by Watch Lists, we're going to be using the Dow Jones Industrial Composite Stock List here. And you quickly see here, not all stocks go up when there's a bullish or bearish idea. There's a disparity amongst all the index stocks generally, unless it's a very strong bullish day. Even then, you might get one or two laggards that doesn't go up, or if it's a strong down day, not all stocks will go down, some of them will go up. But we're going to be focusing on when conditions are ideal for bearishness, so we can build sell watch lists for shorting stocks. Okay, again, as a reminder, the Dow Jones Industrial Seasonals in this list here, we're going to be focusing on the bearish months and any consolidation month in between. Okay, you can see that here. And we're going to be looking at the first portion of the year from May through July. That's the primary area of which we're going to be focusing on. So building sell watch lists. Filter number 1 is obviously the stock market must be poised to decline. And filter number 2, during bearish months, we're going to be looking for stocks that make a lower high. Okay, the months of January and May through July are ideal short swing setups. Majority of index stocks will decline with the major market decline. Stocks that are trending lower on the weekly prior to this setup are ideal. We're going to be avoiding safe stocks like Verizon, GE, and Coca-Cola. Weak stocks will have obvious bearish market structure. The premium arrays with index SMT will highlight companies that are under heavy distribution during seasonally bearish months. We're going to be trying to narrow the selection down to 2 to 4 companies during the stock selection process. And leadership stocks that are aggressively sold by institutions will be found to fail to rally higher during bearish months when the 3 major indices rally until one of those indices fail to post a higher high comparably. Okay, you can see here January generally is a bearish month, but we're going to focus primarily on the condition from May high through the month of July. So we're looking at the entire encapsulation of the beginning of May to the 1st of August. Okay, and again, we're going to be focusing primarily on the index SMT divergence seen here. This is the 2015 May, June, July time period, and the indices failed to make comparable higher highs. NASDAQ at the top made a higher high, but the Dow and the S&P at the bottom failed to make a higher high. So we have a classic fingerprint for distribution in the stock market. Okay, and our first stock we're going to be looking at, this is a weekly chart. So we're going to jump right to the weekly and skip a step that we did in our previous lesson, but you can see how that was done just using it with greater detail using a daily chart for all of the stocks we've used here. Now I've already done all the legwork for you. I went through and found all the markets that were in bearish institutional order flow for the weekly. And again, every chart we're showing here is a weekly chart. And the first on our list is AXP, or American Express. And we're focusing again on the 2015 time period. But first, we're going to look at the effects of what the May to July time period looks like when the market's bullish. As you can see here, while it did call a high in the marketplace, the green cumulative line, that's the Dow Jones, and it failed to make a lower high. Now, there's one candle in here I could have made an argument about, but I'm not going to do that. We're just going to say that there was no divergence, because the rules are if it's not obvious, there is no divergence on the SMT. So while the markets were bullish there was no gravitational pull for stocks to pull lower or fail to make a higher high, at least on this specific stock. But in 2015, between May and the 1st of August, we can see here that the Dow Jones leading up into May, the Dow was making higher highs in that green cumulative line, while the American Express stock shares were seeing failure to rally comparably. So American Express was in heavy distribution, and you can see how the May, June, July time period caused a seasonal high, and price traded off rather aggressive from around $80 a share all the way down to almost $50 a share. So that's $30 a share. Okay, next one we have here is Caterpillar. Again, we're focusing on when the market was bullish, even though we're expecting bearishness. When the market's strong, it can create a high, but we're looking for a divergence with the indices. And it didn't give us a failure swing to go with a lower high during those months, so we can't do anything with it. Even though we can expect bearish prices overall, it didn't fit the mold there. Here we have the May to August in 2015, and you can see the Dow Jones was making higher high. At the same time, Caterpillar was failing to make a higher high. And again, institutional order flow on the weekly chart was bearish. And you can see how prices moved almost $90 a share all the way down to almost $55 a share. So about $45 a share, just about $45 a share in terms of a price move. And these are index stocks, folks. They're not growth stocks or high-flying stocks. They're stocks that are just simply traded, on the big board. The next stock in our list, CVX or Chevron Corporation. And again, when the stock market's bullish, we can see how it did cause a high to form in Chevron Corporation in 2014, but we're looking for when institutional order flow is bearish. We see that's the case in May to August of 2015. Dow Jones was making higher highs. At the same time, Chevron shares were making lower highs, so we were in heavy distribution, and notice the ramp up and acceleration on the selling during the seasonal decline between May and August. Huge decline from $110 a share all the way down to $70 a share. Massive. Okay, the next one here is XOM or ExxonMobil. Again, just for comparison's sake, when the market's bullish, yes, the seasonal influence of May to August gives us a high in the shares, but again, we're looking for heavy distribution when institutional order flow is already bearish. And that's seen here in May to August of 2015. Dow Jones again posting higher highs. At the same time, ExxonMobil shares were failing to make higher highs, and look at the acceleration in the selling from $90 a share all the way down to almost $66 a share. Really nice move. Okay, and our last one on our list is Walmart, WMT. And again, during market conditions when we're bullish, while we would expect bearish between May to August 1st, we see a little bit of decline here, but it has to be a bearish market tone on a weekly basis. And that's seen here on the weekly with institutional order flow being bearish and the Dow Jones making higher highs. At the same time, Walmart was failing to make higher highs, and from $80 a share all the way down to almost $56 a share. Really nice move there too. So out of this list, I think Walmart was the one that would have been thrown to the side simply because there was a consolidation all through the fall of 2013 and through 2014. It rallied up, but then there was really no attempt to rally. It was just a steady drift lower. And while that may be indicative of overall weakness in the 2015 calendar year, you really want to find an area where price wants to rally away, kind of like a Judas swing or market protractionary state where we sell the rally. In terms of technicals, while it was impressive to see Walmart decline in here, the previous stock selections, they would have been ones to choose from in terms of looking for put options. So we've gone through a rather simplistic approach to looking at how the stock market can be timed and how it's consistent. It's very consistent in terms of what we're looking for. And the reason why it's like that is because institutions by far and large are doing the same thing all the time, or at least making an attempt to do the same thing all the time, because they have to have consistency. So if their consistency is seen in elements like we're teaching in the last two teachings here, this one and the previous, in terms of watch lists, building buy and sell watch lists, if we understand that we can see them, or these generic traits that reoccur in the conditions of the marketplace, that means that they have a simple rule-based idea that they keep following. So if we can see it, we know that they're trying to follow a program, and if the program they're following leaves these types of footprints every year, then we know that we're onto something, so we can track smart money. Because of the volume, the sheer volume at which they trade and they accumulate or distribute these shares. So if we have these generic characteristics seen in price action, and we know that they have a rule-based idea and a program that they follow all the time, that means that the consistency should hold up years to come. So it's a method that you can pass on to your children to help them build their own individual retirement accounts, or add an additional income or secondary income without actually having to have another job. So we're going to be using these ideas to also work into why it's important to know it, even if you've never had an interest in trading stocks, or if you never have an interest in trading stocks, even despite seeing this information, because I'm sure there's some of you in our group that's going to feel that way. It's important to know what these telltale signs are when we're expecting to see them, because it's going to give us insight. So regardless of whether we're a stock trader or a bond trader or a commodity trader or an S&P trader, these 4 asset class studies that we've done this month are paramount to understanding the general market. So I'm going to counsel you to go through the NASDAQ 100 as a homework assignment for this week. And I would like for you to all contribute, or at least in your own private study. You don't have to do it on the forum, because I know some of you just don't want to do it. You're just nervous or shy or bashful or whatever. You just want to watch everybody else do the work. But do the NASDAQ 100 stocks, and simply go on Google, do a search of NASDAQ 100 index stocks. It'll give you all the symbols for those 100 companies. Now, yes, it's a little more than 3 times the amount of Dow Jones stocks that we've looked at here, but it's for your benefit to do it, and use the same parameters that I've outlined for the buy model and the sell model. Okay, so we have watch lists for both buying and selling. Specific criteria. It's not hard. It's not a lot of acrobatics to figure out what's going on. You're looking at a specific time of year and a condition based on institutional order flow. You're looking for institutional order flow on the weekly chart to be either bearish or bullish, and you're lining that up with the seasonal tendencies as we described it in both the building buy watch lists and building sell watch list tutorial. Until we get to our end of our content for this month, we're going to talk a little bit more about valuation for selections on stocks, and then we're going to be incorporating options, and then there's going to be a bonus lesson for this month on how we use all this information in terms of the asset classes and why it's beneficial. And until the next lesson, I wish you good luck and good trading.